Assalamu alaikum. If you recite the Quran very well, you would have come across one of these in plenty of the verses of the Quran. Look at these two statements and tell me which one of these do you think is in the Quran. The first here we have Inna Allah Ghafurur Rahim. And the second says Inna Allahu Ghafurur Rahim. Which of these do you think is correct? Of course, the first one is correct. We have Inna Allah Ghafurur Rahim. What is different between the first statement and the second? The only difference we can find here is that Allah, the name of Allah here, in the first one had Fatha above it, while in the second one we see Dhamma, and that is what made the second statement to be wrong. We cannot say in the Quran Inna Allahu Ghafurur Rahim because this is grammatically incorrect. What we should say is Inna Allah. So when next you're reciting the Quran, you know you shouldn't say Inna Allahu, rather Inna Allah. And why is it Inna Allah and not Inna Allahu? This is because the name Allah is a noun, and this noun is appearing after Inna. And Inna is one of those words that when they appear before a nominal noun, they change the noun into carrying fatha. That is why we have Inna Allah, not Inna Allahu. So several places in the Quran we see Inna coming before a noun and to change the noun to carry in fatha. Now today, this is the topic we're going to be discussing today, because Inna is not alone with this quality. There are other words which also share this rule with Inna, and that is why the topic of the day is Inna wa akhawatuha. Inna and his sisters, or Inna and his subordinates. So the word Inna is a word that we use for what? We use them as a subordinating and conjunction. We use them to join a part of sentence together. We also use them to open a sentence and to serve as stress. And what is stress and also emphasis. So we have equivalence of Inna, and we are still consulting our popular book An-Nahwul Wadih, the Arabic grammar book. For those of us who may be finding the text to be small, we can slant our phones in order to watch this video in the landscape mode, inshallah. As usual, we have a lot of examples to look at in order to understand this topic. The first example we have here is number one, al-jamalu saburun. What is jamal? The camel is patient. And on the left hand side we have innal jamala saburun. Indeed, the camel is patient. We can see at the beginning we have al-jamalu. Now we are having al-jamala. This is because inna appears before it. So inna changes al-jamalu to al-jamala. Inna al-jamala saburun. Indeed, the camel is patient. Number two, we have al-haramu qadimun. The pyramid is old. We have inna al-harama qadimun. Indeed, the pyramid is old. Number three, we have al-imtihanu qaribun. The examination is near, and we have on the second side alimtu annal imtihana qaribun. I learned that the examination is near. We can see anna coming before al-imtihan, and it also changes al-imtihan to carry fatha. This shows that anna is also part of the equivalent or sisters of inna. They share the same rules. Number four, we have az-zahratu nadiratun. The flower is fresh. What do we have here? Surruni anna az-zahrata nadiratun. It gladdens me that the flower is fresh. So anna coming before az-zahratu and change it to what? Az-zahrata. Number five, we have al-kitab ustadun. The book is a teacher. We have ka'anna al-kitaba ustadun, as if the book is a teacher. We can say al-kitabu in the previously, now al-kitaba. Ka'anna is also one of the sisters of inna. Next, we have al-qamaru misbahun. The moon is a lamp. We have ka'anna al-qamara misbahun, as if the moon is a lamp. We can say al-qamar also changes to fatha. Number seven, we have al-athathu qadimun. The furniture is old. We have al-baytu jadidun. The house is new. Lakinna al-athatha qadimun, but the furniture is old. Number 8, we have al-khasairu qalilatun. The loss is small. We have shabbatin naru. The fire broke out. Lakin al-khasairu. But the losses are small, or the losses is small, or the loss is small. Number 9, we have al-fakihatu nadijatun. The fruit is ripe. And we have layt al-fakihata nadijatun. I wish the fruit is ripe. Number 10, we have al-qamaru tali'un. The moon is rising. We have layt al-qamaru tali'un. I wish the moon is rising. Number 11, we have al-kitabu rakhisun. The book is cheap. La'alla al-kitaba rakhisun. Hopefully, the book will be cheap. Al-maridu na'imun. The sick is sleeping. La'alla al-maridu na'imun. Hopefully, the sick will be sleeping. This we can see in all these, there have been introduction of some words. Now let's go to Al-Bahthu research to explain this example so we understand how to use inna and their sisters. What are the rules that are particular to inna and the words which are equivalent to it. كل مثال في القسم الأول يتألف من مبتدأ وخبر. He says all of the examples we see in the first column, we can see the examples we read out. They have two columns, one on the right hand side and the other on the left hand side. He's saying all of the examples in the right hand side, the first column, contains a mubtada and khabar. That is a subject noun and a predicate. وَهُمَا مَرْفُعَانِ كَمَا عَلِمْتَ. And the subject noun and the predicate are usually carrying dhamma in the nominative case, as we know. وَإِذَا نَظَرْتَ إِلَى الْقِسْمِ الثَّانِي. But if we are to look at the second column, the second side of the examples, رَأَيْتَ الْأَمْثِلَةَ نَفْسَهَا, you will also find the same examples which you find in the first column. بَعْدَ أَنْ دَخَلَ عَلَى كُلِّ مِنْهَا أَحَدُ الْأَحْرُفِ. But this will be after there have been introduction of one of these particles into these examples. The same examples you find in the first column is still the same you find in the second column, only that there's been an introduction of one of the following particles, and the first particle is inna, followed by anna, followed by ka'anna, followed by lakinna, later, and la'alla. وَإِذَا تَعَمَّلْتَ أَوَاخِرَ الْأَسْمَاءِ فِي هَذَا الْقِسْمِ. But if you were to ponder over the ending of these following nouns, we have two nouns in the first column, but after the nouns have been introduced to inna, ka'anna, lakinna, and all of the particles, you will find out that the ending of these nouns, you find out the ending of the first noun, mansuban, will now be carried in fatha, unlike in the first column. Example number 1, we have al-jamalu saburun. The camel is patient. Al-jamalu in the second column now have what? Fatha. We now have innal jamala. So it is now in the mansub case carrying fatha. Wal isma thani marfu'an fi jami'iha. And you find out that in all of the examples, the second noun will always maintain the marfu case, the nominative case carrying dhamma. It never turned to fatha. وَالَّذِي أَحْدَثَ هَذَا التَّغْيِيرَ. And what brought these changes that we have seen, هُوَ دُخُولُ الْأَحْرُفِ الْمُتَقَدِّمَةِ. It is the introduction of the previous particles that we have listed. That is inna, anna, lakinna, ka'anna, lakinna, later, and la'alla. فَهَذِهِ الْأَحْرُفُ إِذًا. Therefore, these particles, therefore, تدخل على المبتدا والخبر. They are particles that are usually introduced to mubtada, to subject noun and predicate. فتنصب الأول, and they will put the first noun into the accusative case carrying fatha, ويسمى اسمها, and the first noun will be called the ismu, the noun of that particular particle. وَتَرْفَعُ الثَّانِي, and these particles will make the second noun to carry dhamma, وَيُسَمَّى خَبَرُهَا, and the second will be called the khabar, the predicate of the particle. وَإِذَا تَدَبَّرْتَ مَعَانِ هَذِهِ الْأَحْرُفِ السِّتَّةِ. And if you ponder and give serious thought over these 6 particles في أمثلتها, in the examples which they appear, wajatta, you're going to find the following. Number 1, you find out that inna and anna, this first one that we find in example number 1 to 4, you find out that inna and anna تفيدان توكيد ثبوت الخبر المبتدا. What they signify is the validity of the information that is being given with the khabar concerning the mubtada. Look at example number 1. We have al-jamalu saburun. The camel is patient. And after introducing inna to it, we had innal jamala saburun. Indeed, the camel is patient. Indeed, the camel is patient. This shows that you are trying to validate and to confirm and affirm that information that the camel, indeed, it is patient. The camel is indeed patient. I'm talking like a Nigerian. The camel is indeed patient. So we also see this in example number 3. Al-imtihanu qaribun. The examination is near. And we have alimtu. I learned. Annal imtihana. That indeed the examination is what? Near. This is validation of this information. That I'm not doubting it. That the examination is near. This is the usage of inna and anna. وكأن, but the third particle, which is كأن, تفيد تشبيه المبتدا بالخبر. This is used just as we have simile in the English, what do we call it? Figures of speech. One of the figures of speech in the English language is called simile, whereby you make some similarity between a noun and another. So here you make the khabar to be similar to the mubtada. An example, we see example number 5, we said al-kitabu ustadhun. The book is a teacher. And on the left hand side we said ka'annal kitaba ustadhun, as if the book is a teacher. We all know that the book cannot be a teacher. It's not possible. But we are only making some simile. We are trying to make some similitude, that we're trying to make some comparison that the book in its effect that it has on a student or a learner is as if it is a teacher. So that is the usage of ka'anna. Now moving to lakinna, which is another particle among the 6 particles, ta'ti lil istidrak. So lakinna is used for what? Redirection. For what? Redirection of what? An information. You want to redirect somebody from a particular information to another. For example, look at wahuwa manu usami' min fahmi shay'in ghayri maqsud. And this lakinna is used to prevent the listener from understanding what is not being intended or what is not true. You are trying to what? When you use lakinna, you use it to what? To prevent the listener, somebody listening to you, from understanding what you do not mean. And look at example number 7. We have al-athathu qadimun. The chair or the furniture is old. But on the left hand side we have al-baytu jadidun. The house is new. Lakinnal athatha qadimun, but the furniture is old. When you tell somebody that al-baytu jadidun, that the house is new, this person may be thinking that since the house is new, the furniture should also be new. Everything concerning the house should be new. But you are trying to redirect him so that you will not be thinking of what you do not intend. Therefore, you are telling him, al-baytu jadidun, the house is new. Lakinna, but understand something differently. The furnitures are old. If you are buying, you buy. If you don't want to buy, you leave it. The furniture is old. MashaAllah. Now let's move on. Then later, as for later, which is the 5th particle, tadullu ala tamanni husulil khabari. It is used when you are being hopeful, when you have an expectation of the occurrence of the predicate. When you give an information about it now and you have this expectation that this is going to happen, that's when you use later. Let's look at example number 9. We have al-fakihatu nadijatun. The fruit is ripe. But on the other side we have late al-fakihata nadijatun. Late al-fakihata nadijatun. Expecting, I expect, wish, hope, I wish that the fakihah, the fruit, is ripe. You are only wishing that, oh, you wish it happens. Then as for la'alla now tadullu ala raja'i wuqu'i. As for la'alla, which is the last particle among these 6 particles, it is used when you are very much hopeful that something will happen. Look at example number 11. We said al-kitabu rakhisun. The book is cheap. On the left hand side, we have la alla la kitaba rakhisun. Hopefully, the book will be cheap. So you are very much expectant. Now, وَالتَّمَنِّي يَكُونُ عَادَةً لِأَمْرٍ بَعِيدٍ الْحُصُولِ. The call that we say later is used for tamanni, for expectation. So later, when we talk about tamanni, it is used when concerning some things or occurrences that are far from happening. So when you use later, you are you are less sure or expectant of that occurrence. You are only saying that I wish it happened, but you know it will hardly happen. Amma raja'u, as for raja, which is hope, فيكون عادة في الأمور القريبة. It is usually used for things which you are sure قريبة الوقوع, which you are sure and they are closer to occurring. So when you use later, you're not too sure, you're not too expectant of the happening, and when you use la'alla, you are much more expectant. Let's move on to al-qaida, which is the rule to simplify this topic for us. It says inna wa anna wa ka'anna wa lakinna wa layta la'alla. These six particles tadkhulu al-mubtada or al-khabar. They are usually introduced to a nominal sentence which contains a mubtada, subject noun, and also al-khabar, the predicate. Fatansibu al-mubtada. Then it will put the mubtada, the subject noun, the first noun, into carrying dhamma, fatha. وَيُسَمَّى ismaha, and this mubtada will now be called the ismu of that particular particle. وَتَرْفَعُ الْخَبَرِ, and it will put the khabar into carrying dhamma, and وَيُسَمَّى khabar, and that khabar will now be called the khabar of the particle. Now, summarily, what we have learned from here is that there are six particles: inna, anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta, and la'alla. These six particles, they are usually introduced to a nominal sentence, mubtada and khabar, and they will change the mubtada to fatha and change the khabar to carrying dhamma. Tamrinat, moving on to exercises to better understanding. As we solve together, do make sure you solve it by yourself in order to understand this topic very well. I know how to have gained a lot of sentences that you can use for your day in, day out expressions. Tamrin al-awwal, exercise number 1, the instruction says, بَيِّن كُلَّ اسْمٍ وَخَبَرٍ لِإِنَّ وَأَخْوَاتِهَا فِي الْإِبَارَاتِ الْآتِيَةِ. We are to identify each of the nouns and khabar, each of the ismu and khabar, li'inna, for inna and its equivalents or its sisters, fil ibarat al atiya, in the following expressions. Below we have expressions or sentences. We have to identify the ismu of inna and its sisters, and also the khabar of inna and its sisters. Number 1, we have la'alla tufaha kathirun. Hopefully, the apples will become much. So at-tufaha is the ismu la'alla, and kathirun is the khabaru la'alla. This is simple. This is what we have to do. Can form a column and put each of the ismu and the khabar for inna wa akhawatiha, and inna wa akhawatiha for the khabar. Number 2, we have inna nadhafata wajibatun. Cleanliness, indeed, cleanliness is compulsory or mandatory. So an-nadhafata is the ismu inna, wajibatun is the khabaru inna. Number 3, we have layta al-balida mujtahidun. Which the daft, which what? The daft is hardworking. Which the daft is hardworking. Al-balida is the ismu layta, and mujtahidun is the khabaru layta. Number 4, we have wajadtu anna al-aqraba mayyitatun. I found that the, what we call aqrab, the scorpion is dead. So al-aqraba is the ismu anna, and mayyitatun is the khabaru anna. Number 5, we have la'alla tajira rabihun. Hopefully, the trader, the merchant, will be gainful, will make success in his business. So at-tajira is the ismu la'alla, and rabihun is the khabaru la'alla. Lastly, we have imtana al-mataru lakinna sahaba kathirun. The rain ceased, but the cloud is much. So we say what? As-sahaba is the ismu lakinna, and kathirun is the khabaru lakinna. Tamrin al-thani, exercise number 2. The instruction says adkhil inna ala kulli jumlatin min al-jumal al-atiya washkul akhira kulli kalimatin fiha. Introduce inna to each of the following sentences and record their endings by putting fatha or kisra at the end of the nouns you find in the following sentences. Number one, we have an-nujumu lami'atun. The stars are shining. What do we say? Inna an-nujuma lami'atun. Correct. Indeed, the stars are shining. Number two, we have al-hidha'u dayyikun. The shoe is tight. We say inna al-hidha'a dayyikun. Indeed, the shoe is tight. Number three, we have as-sayyaratu sari'atun. We say inna as-sayyarata sari'atun. Indeed, the car is fast. Number four, we have al-ba'udu kathirun. Mosquitoes are much. We say inna al-ba'uda kathirun. Indeed, the mosquitoes are much. Number five, we have ash-shita'u muqbilun. The winter is coming. It's approaching. We say inna ash-shita'a muqbilun. And lastly, al-ma'u kadirun. The water is turbid. It's misty. You say inna al-ma'a kadirun. MashaAllah. Moving on to Tamrin al-Thalis, exercise number 3. The instruction says أدخل ليت على كل جملة من الجمل الآتية واشكل آخر كل كلمة فيها. Introduce later to the following sentences and record their endings. Number one, we have ad-darahimu kathiratun. Darahim, dirham, which is a currency, is how much. We say inna darahim. We say later darahima kathiratun, which the dirhams are much. Number two, we have ashari wasi'un. The street is spacious. We say later shari'a wasi'un, which the street is spacious. Number three, we have al-battatu saminatun. We call it the duck. The duck is fat. We say later al-battata saminatun, which the duck is fat. Number four, we have al-utlatu qaribatun. The holiday is close, is approaching, or is nearby. We say later al-utlata qaribatun, which the holiday is near. Next, we have al-bahru hadi'un. The sea is calm. We say later al-bahru hadi'un, which the sea is calm. Lastly, we have al-bayu aminun. The trader is trustworthy. We say later al-bay'a aminun, which the trader is trustworthy. Tamrin al-Rabi, exercise number 4. The instruction says adkhil la'alla. Introduce la'alla ala kulli jumlatin min al-jumal al-atiyah to each of the following sentences. Washkul akhira kulli kalimatin fiha, and record the ending of each of the sentences you find therein. Number one, we have al-musafiru qadimun. The traveler is coming. We say la'alla al-musafiru qadimun. Hopefully, the traveler is coming. Number two, we have al-qubu nadhifun. The cup is clean. We say la'alla al-quba nadhifun. Hopefully, the cup is clean. Number three, al-qissatu ladhidatun. The story is delicious. The story is what? Interesting. We say la'alla al-qissata ladhidatun. Hopefully, the story is interesting. Number four, we have al-qimtaru murattabun. The satchel is arranged. We say la'alla al-qimtara murattabun. Hopefully the satchel is arranged. Number five, we have al-khabaru sahihun. The news is true. We say it's authentic. We say la'alla al-khabara sahihun. Hopefully the news is authentic. Number six, we have ad-darusu sahlun. The lesson is easy. We say la'alla ad-darusa sahlun. Hopefully the lesson is easy. Tamrin al-Khamis, exercise number 5. The instruction says harfan munasiba fi makan al-khali min kulli jumlatin. Place an appropriate particle in the blank spaces in the following sentences. Washkul akhir al-ismaini ba'da, and record the endings of the last of the nouns. Number one, we have yasurruni dash an-natija hasana. We say yasurruni an-natijata hasanatun. It gladdens me, it pleases me that the result is good. Number two, we have al-walidu mu'addibun dash al-walada qabihun. The father is polite dash the boy is ugly. What do we say? Al-walidu mu'addibun lakin al-walada qabihun. The father is a trainer. The father is polite. He trains someone, but the boy is ugly. He's bad. He's a bad boy. Number three, we have al-hawa'u shadidun dash al-jawwa dafi'un. We say al-hawa'u shadidun. The air is severe. Lakin al-jawwa dafi'un. But the weather is calm. Next, we have ishtadda al-mataru. Then ash-shari'a nazifun. We say ishtadda al-mataru lakin ash-shari'a nazifun. The rain is severe, but the street is clean. Number 5, we have ma alimtu dash al miftah da'iun. We say ma alimtu anna al miftah da'iun. I don't know, I did not know that the key is lost. Next we have yolimuni anna al binta maridun. It pains me that the girl is sick. Next we have sami'tu dash al faydana azimun. I know anna al faydana azim, that the flood is great. Next we have akhbar al hammalu anna al qitara mutaakhirun. The porter narrated that the train will delay. Next we have hal balagoka anna nila mutqafi'un. Has it reached you that the river Nile is rise, it has rose? Number 10, we have al hadiqatu jamilatun lakinna al bustaniyu muhmilun. The garden is beautiful, but the gardener is negligent. He's not facing his work. He doesn't like the work. Tamrin Osad, exercise number 6. The instruction says, Atmim al-Jumal al-Atiya. Complete the following sentences. بوضع الخبر المحذوف في المكان الخالي, by placing the missing predicates in the blank spaces. ثم ضبط أواخر كلماتها. Then record the endings of the words. In the following sentences, there are missing predicates. We should provide them. Number 1, we have innal asada. What do we say? Innal asada qawiyun. Indeed, the lion is strong. Number 2, we have al-kitabu mufidun lakinna suwara. The book is beneficial, but the pictures, what do we say? Sayya, are bad. The pictures are bad. Number 3, we have sha'arutu anna al-barda. I learned that the cold is harisun, is severe, is bitter. Number 4, we have ka'anna al-hirra, as if the cat is khaifun, as if the cat is fearful. Number 5, we have la'alla al-mujrima, as if the criminal taliqun is freed. Number 6, we have layta dawa, a wish the medicine. Murrun is layta dawa hulun, wish the medicine is sweet. Wish. Number 7, we have yasurruni anna al-Eida. It gladdens me that the Eid qaribun is near. Lastly, ka'anna al-Bayta, as if the house masjidun is like a mosque. Moving on to Tamrin Osab, exercise number 7, we are about to finish, inshallah. The instruction says, Atmim al-Jumal al-Atiya. Complete the following sentences. Biwada'i al-ism al-mahdhuf fil makan al-khali, by placing the missing noun in the blank space. Thumma adbit awakhir kalimati, and record the endings. The following sentences have missing nouns. We have to provide the nouns. Number 1, we have layta dash muqfalun. We can say which dash is locked. Which layta al-baba muqfalun, which the door is locked. Number 2, we have ta'allamtu anna dash mutaharrika. I learned that dash is moving, it's a motion. What is that? Ta'allamtu anna al-arda mutaharrika. I learned that the earth is moving, or is a motion. Number 3, we have la'alla dash mu'tadilun. Hopefully dash will be moderate, temperate. We say la'alla jawa mu'tadilun. Hopefully the weather will be moderate, temperate. Before ka'anna dash fiddatun, we can say ka'anna dhahaba fiddatun, as if the gold is silver. Number 5, we have inna dash semina. Indeed, this is fat. We can say innal binta seminatun. Indeed, that the girl is fat. Number 6, we have al-hibru jayyidun lakinna dash maksufun. We can say al-hibru jayyidun lakinna al-qalama maksufun. Al-hibru, that is the writer is good, but the pen is sharpened. Number 7, we have layta dash jadidun. What do we say? Layta al-kitaba jadidun, which the book is new. Lastly, ka'anna dash akilun, as if this is sensible. We can say ka'anna al-ghanama akilun, as if the ram is sensible. Tamrin al-thami, that's number 8. The instruction says istamil kull harf min al-huruf al-atiya min al-huruf allati tansibu al-mubtada wa tarfa'u al-khabar fi jumlatayn. Use each of the particles which changes a mubtada to fatha and a khabar to dhamma in two sentences. All of the six particles we have learned, we have to use each of them in two sentences each. The first one we had was inna. What do I say? I can say inna allaha alimun. Indeed, Allah is most knowing. Number two, I can say, Inna Muhammadan Rasulun. Indeed, Muhammad is a messenger. Number three, I can say, Alimtu annal mu'umma maridatun. I learned that the mother is sick. For Anna, another one I can say, Sami'tu annal aba jai'un. I heard that the father is hungry. Coming to Ka'anna, I can say, Ka'annal walada abun, as if the boy is a father. I can also say ka'annal binta umun, as if the girl is a mother. Next is lakinna. I can say ra'aytul walada lakinnal binta ghaibatun. I saw the boy but the girl is absent. Next I can say al waladu najihun. The boy passed. Lakinnal binta rasibatun, but the girl failed. Next, I have later. I can say later tufaha burtuqalan. Later tufaha burtuqalu nun. I see. I wish the apple is orange. Next, I have later baytu later bayta masjidun, which the house is mosque. And lastly, for Allah, we also need to form two sentences. I can say la'allallaha yuhdithu ba'da dhalika amra. This is a verse in the Quran. Hopefully, Allah will come up with a matter. Next, I can also say la'alla Muhammadun qadimun. La'alla Muhammadan qadimun. Hopefully, Muhammad is returning, will be back. Now, the next exercise instruction says tamrinun fil insha, exercise on composition. The instruction says hati sitta jumalin. Form six sentences fi wasfil fil. These sentences should be describing an elephant. بحيث تشتمل كل جملة على حرف من الحروف الناصبة. By making sure that each of these sentences should be made up of a particle among the particles which put the mubtada into dhamma, into what fatha, and the khabar into dhamma. Ma astifa jamil huruf, and make sure you use all of the huruf, all of the particles. The first sentence we have, we can say innal fila dakhmun. Indeed, the elephant is fat. Indeed, the elephant is gigantic. So we have inna, we have used the inna. The next we can say alimtu annal fila saburun. I learned that the elephant is patient. Next I can say al filu dakhmun lakinnal asada aqwa. The elephant is mighty, but the lion is more strong, or is stronger. Next I can say ka'annal fila akilun, as if the elephant is sensible. Next I can say laytal fila jabalun, which the elephant is a mountain. And lastly I can also say la'allal fila hadiun, hopefully the elephant will be calm. Moving on to the last exercise, the instruction says that is tamrinun fil i'rab, exercise on grammatical analysis. The sample we have here is number one, innal adaba wajibun. We're going to analyze this. Innal adaba wajibun. Indeed, adab, indeed morality is compulsory. So we can see inna harufu tawkidin. This is the grammatical function. It is a particle of emphasis. Then al adaba is ismu inna mansubu, the noun of inna in the accusative case, and wajibun is the khabaru inna, predicate of inna, marfu'un in nominative case. Sample number two, we have ka'anna al-harama jabalun, as if the haram, the pyramid is a mountain. Ka'anna is harufu tashbihin, is what? A simile particle. Al-harama is ismu ka'anna mansubu and jabalun khabaru ka'anna marfu'. Moving on to our own arib al-jumal al-atiyah. Analyze the following sentences. Number one, we have innal jundiya shuja'un. Indeed, the soldier is brave. We say inna harfu tawkidin. Then al-jundiyya ismu inna mansubun. Then shuja'un khabaru inna marfu. Number two, we have ka'anna, which is harfu tashbihin. Ka'anna al-ilma nurun, as if knowledge is light. Ka'anna is harfu tashbihin. Al-ilma ismu ka'anna mansub, nurun khabaru ka'anna marfu. Number three, we have la'alla. We say harfu raja'in. Al-manzila ismu la'alla mansub, qaribun khabaru la'alla marfu. Layta shamsa tali'atun, which the sun is rising. We say layta harfu layta harfu tamannin. Ashamsa ismu layta, then mansub, tali'atun khabaru layta marfu. Number five, we have alim al mudarrisu anna nadhira mukbilun. The teacher learns that the director or the invigilator is coming. So we say alima fi'lu madi, then al mudarrisu fa'ilun marfu, then anna harfu tawkidin, an-nadhira ismu anna mansubun, muqbilun khabaru anna marfu. Lastly, kathra al-balahu lakinna thamana murtafi'un. The unripe dates is plenty, lakinna thamana, but murtafi'un, but the prices are rise. The price are on the higher side. So we say kathra fi'lu madi, al-balahu fa'ilun marfu, lakinna harfu istidrakin, athamana, that is ismu lakinna mansub, then murtafi'un khabaru lakinna marfu. With this, we come to the end of this lesson. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us abundantly. Make sure you resolve all of this exercises by yourself, as this will better your understanding. Make sure you like, share with your friends, and drop your comments at the comment section. Until we meet again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Udumi.